gods be good. Shelter, umbrella, my faithful mule. I hope you have found somewhere to get out of this squall. It can't be a heart tree. Here?
You have sharp eyes, young one.
Oh, my word. Forgive me, I was not expecting,
Are you fleeing the wrath of the storm?
Aptly put, good woman. Forgive my startlement. I assume you are doing the same.
There was once a time when all the men of this land cowered from storms, and made offerings to them in the hope that they would quiet. It took time, but eventually some arose to stand amidst the shrieking song of gale and rain, and cried defiance.
I see. I was not aware some in the Stormlands worshipped such forces, though perhaps it's not so surprising. There were some in the west, and others in mountain and vale, who still revere the earth and what lies within it, and I hear in Dawn there are many such beliefs.
Is that from where you have come, singer?
You're by way of Old Town, but I am no singer, good woman. I am but a novice of the Ravenry, on a journey through these lands in search of knowledge and understanding.
Is that so? You have come to learn the lays of the land?
Yes, I had hoped to learn what I may before I return to the west, and seek my master from his journeys long away. I don't suppose you would know something of the Stormlands, its people, its histories?
I have lived it, breathed it. I am the living history of this land, not some witless wilt in a leaky keep.
See. Yes, not a leaky keep, more a leafy one, I suppose. You said the men of this land once worshipped storms.
They did when they were young. A few of them never grew at the rest and remained as saplings, fearful of the winds that howl and blow. When those do finally grow, they are often twisted and gnarled, and angry at the earth.
I see. So you are saying that there are still those in these parts that keep what a friend of mine referred to as the first gods of men.
A few lost ones. They dwell in their high valleys, hiding themselves from the world, the sons of the slain and the bloody gore on a red wind. They see sea and sky as their foe and their torment, though cannot decide whether to appease or to oppose them. But the blood that waters the earth and the streams there was not shed by storms without, but within.
They sound a worrisome bunch, to tell it true. What of the rest? How did they escape such a fate as you describe?
In the beginning, they came out of the empty lands. Their feet were bloody and their throats dry. Part of the harshness of that place had seeped into them. In that time, this land belonged to the singers, and the song they sung was one of pity. But these men did not care for pity. They saw the trees and saw not protectors, but evil eyes watching them. They heard the singers, and took them for monsters trying to control instead of guide. And so they warred against them, and burned and raged, and were ruled by their fear. Until he came. He walked in the woods, for then all of these lands were forested, but he did so without fear. On the Cape of Wrath he met his love, and carried her back to his keep. Terrible storms came for him, and he took them for the anger of the gods, but he stood firm even as his home crumbled around him. Still he did not forsake her. He built again and again, and every time the destruction was terrible, but still he did not forsake the vows he had made. Eventually, with her aid and that of others, a keep was built that no storm or sorcery could pierce, and a new age came to the Stormlands.
I know this tale. You are speaking of Duran Godsgrief and Alene, the daughter of the gods. It is an old legend, and well known.
Duran. Men became what they ought to have been on the day he awoke. Thanks to him and others, peace was made between men and the singers, and his son with Elene, the name he had given his love, returned the land that his forebears had stolen, and began to revere the land.
The Pact, I believe you are referring to. It was a great event, the stories say, where men all over Westeros put aside their enmity with the children of the forest, and took the worship of the weirwoods for their own. But forgive me, good woman, but that time is filled with strange and apocryphal tales. They say Durin lived for 1,000 years, and his war with the gods is surely a tale, a fable, no?
We are all tales, Hagen of Yore, all songs that have their time to be sung, and none are truly forgotten whilst our tongues remain.
I did not think I had given you my name. Did I?
Yes.
Well, Durin must have died in time, surely, for there have been other Storm Kings since. I recall their names are spoken of even now in Yore, for in time they came over the Blackwater with fury and took it all for themselves.
They lost their way. That is the tragedy of men, I think. No matter how noble one might be, or how many he inspires, he must pass on, and men cannot hear the song afterwards. Those that sing know better, for those that return to the earth and the trees are never truly gone, and are always with them.
The children of the forest, you mean? I have taken it to mean that so far when you speak of singers, apart from when you speak of me.
While Durin's son of Elene was good and true, for he had known the light of those that sired him, those that followed did not. They took the tale of Durin and named him God's Grief, and took the lesson that defiance and struggle will always be the path. Bronze Axe took back the Rainwood, even as Durin II had granted it to the singers in perpetuity. For men, perpetuity lasts only as long as a life, it seems. They all took Durin's name, but few had his nature.
I think I see what you mean. Master Ethelmund once speculated to me that rather than Durin living so long, that all his heirs wore his name for centuries after, like a title of its own.
Mayhaps, but the true titles they won were of their own making. Durin the Dour slew the last king of the giants, then the last, and the song of his people was ever a dirge thereafter. The giants were of a simple kind, but they feel and sing as deeply as any man. Butcher Boy, Kin Killer, these are the titles of those who had taken Durin's passion and decided that rage and violence made them the kings of the storm. Such folly. They resembled more the storms that assailed Durin than the man himself.
What do you believe the moral is, then, that should be taken from Durin's tale?
Durin loved so utterly, so completely, that he would not be cowed. His defiance was fueled by his passion, and thus he became half a god himself. He built his keep not to dominate, but to protect the life he had built, and to have children to follow him.
I see. Quite fascinating. I have never heard that before. I thank you. In truth, I've been quite interested in the line of the Storm Kings, especially since they appear to have, how should I say, well, they are not what they were, but I suppose you would say that began longer ago.
What would you say, Hagen? He who has climbed mountains and waded rivers?
I? What? I see. Well, from my point of view, that is to say, the point of view of Yore, we recall Monfrid the Mighty, who crossed the Blackwater and defeated the kings of Duskendale and Maidenpool, and thus became our king for a time, but it never lasted. Monfrid's son, Durin the Dim, his name was, lost it all, and after that it appears the Storm Kings fell into ever greater decline. Durwald the Fat went to war with Garth Goldenhand, and now I've heard from both the men of the West and those of the Reach just how dire that went. I have even heard that Durwald's entire realm collapsed for a time, so grievous was his defeat.
You know a deal, Hagen. It was Durwald's utter corruption that broke the kingdom apart. Tarth, the range of mountains on the peninsula to the north where giants yet dwell, the western reaches, they all broke away, and the Green Queen emerged from deep in the wood, and took up her old crown and defied the line of Durin that had fallen so far from grace.
The Green Queen?
Yes, she is not alone in that. The Evenstar Isle, and he who had called himself Lord of the Rainwood, have taken matters into their own hands as well. And from across the sea there are others coming. The sun rises in the morning, Hagen of Yore. It sets in the evening. What follows?
The night. I would say.
And then?
The day comes again.
Yes. Ages of the world are like that. Men from the east are coming, as once they did. Old powers are waking in the deep woods, and we feel their presence, even here.
King Gawain said something not dissimilar to me when I visited with him in Highgarden. He said that the answers lay in the past, in the old and quiet places.
The son of the Green was not wrong, though they are quiet no longer.
How do you know all this? Forgive me, but though I am young, I have travelled too far and seen too much to be so utterly fooled. You have some place in all this, even if I have yet to find it.
You are here to learn, Hagen, to listen. Mayhaps I am here to hasten your learning. For have you not often said that your duty is to remember?
I have, but not to you.
You spoke it on the earth, and the earth remembers as well.
Then this is no chance meeting.
Few things around you are happening by chance. Though Brock the Bard claims to be Lord of the Rainwood, he realizes the greater power is waking. You would do well to take this message to Arya Fell, who is wronged to be called the Witch of the Fellwood, and bid her take counsel with the king charged with tending the garden. Journey west to the Halfwood, and bid the half-blind lord who wears Durin's name to wander deeper into his forest, and gaze full-seeing into the Halfsmere. Lord Clover too should awaken from his green bed, and remember the pact his ancestors once held so dearly, for all over the land it has been broken, and the eldest will not let it lie. As the werewoods burn at the hands of the new men, as they did in the dawn, so I look to the Evenstar Isle with its mountains and falls, and the eyes through which I see fall upon the man who is called the Perfect Knight, and wonder at his part in all this. Is he the bringer of dusk and darkness, as his sign purports? Or is he the last hero, come again when the darkness has already fallen?
You are she, the Green Queen, are you not?
My crown is ancient, Hagen of yore, and faded from lack of use. I took it up once for a greater cause, and have again. I will not set it by until my task is done.
And the tasks you have set me, I am but a novice who has been at his training less than 3 years. There are Grey Masters who are twice as old and thrice as wise as I. Why not pass this message on to one of them?
The wizards speak to ravens and have them speak in their stead, but they do not listen to them. They have their own ends, and they are not mine.
But surely they are mine as well. I took vows.
And you have kept them? Always?
I have tried. I've never claimed to be perfect, but honest, and true of heart, if not always in deed.
But would your masters claim perfection? Or would they only claim that they are the best and wisest of men? I do not wish my message to take root in soil that is hard and rigid, and has no room for new growth.
I do not think King Eric would take kindly to my wandering his realm and preaching of such dire things in the halls of his vassals. He might take me for an agent of discord and have me seized.
Eric, son of Monford, I pity him, Hagen of yore. For all I have said of the sons of Durin, I do not wish him ill. He is cursed, I think, to have been born an ordinary man with an extraordinary burden. But I think he will be too sorely beset to trouble with you.
Oh, aye, perhaps, with the pirate king Justin Milkeye striking from the north, and Dornish hosts spilling from the south, and with Andals landing on this Evenstar Isle you describe, but I would say that may all make him simply less forgiving.
I cannot make you, Hagen. You must do what you will. But you are my warning to the men of this land, and it is your burden whether to give it, or see those lords suffer the consequence. You have learned the truth, and now you are doomed to remember it, as we do.
Gods preserve me. I like this place ill, and I suddenly feel more inclined to brave the storm, wading through the mud to find my wayward mule. Dry. It's all dry as a bone. I don't understand the storm. Oh,